Let's go ahead. Now that we got our loot here, 11 million is a good number. Let's fly him back. Let's start with our events. Let's start diving into those. So we got a lot of events day one. Battle Pass is off and running. Notice in the Battle Pass, we've got a couple of these things, these Lobby crystals. There are 12 in the top half. I'll talk more about those a little bit later. Standard Syndicate XP and things like that in the top half. Faction credits, etc. Also notice they stuck a couple of extra blueprints for the Doctor in the top half, and for Balana as well. The bottom half also has a couple extra if you get your $20 battle pass. There are a few extra shards from last month's officers tucked away in here. There's also Nadions used to upgrade the armory, which we haven't seen in a little while. Some extra artifact tokens, some extra stuff for the Borg credits, X-Borg credits, and X-Borg faction rep are also tucked away in the bottom half of the battle pass. There's the other 8, giving you a total of 12 of those Lobby crystals. We also have a little bit more Fleet Commander materials there. Battle Pass today's event was Hostile Hunt. We have this 5-day leaderboard event, which is designed entirely around spending Ultra Recruits, giving players an opportunity to burn some of that currency that they have been sitting on. And there are players who are sitting on tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of these. This is a 5-day Alliance spend event, and, you know, depending on your ops level and server, it could be some pretty juicy rewards. First place on my server that I'm seeing for me being in the Ops 50 has a wide variety of, this is a pack worth of materials right here. 5-star materials, 4-star materials, all the way down to 3-star materials. And it's pretty large quantities here, even when you're looking at 4 through 10. Getting a nice chunk of materials here. So, and it is paying out to all 50 places. Certainly a way to get players, hopefully, to spend some of those Ultra Recruits that they've been hoarding for a little while. Olympus wishes it had an SLB component. Well, there was an Ultra Recruit Officer event that just ended that kind of tied into this a little bit, at least to give you a little bit of reward for spending your Ultra Recruits. Unknown Quantity, this is a solo milestone event. It's a 3-day event. By completing your battle pass, you get points. By completing your storyline events, you also get a big chunk of points. More on that. The reward for this is just this one token. So you do all your events for the next 3 days, you get this token, which we'll look at in a second as to what you can cash that in for. Here's your overflow, which has no additional officer shards in it this time around, which is interesting. Usually there's a couple of, maybe a Janeway or, a Tom Paris or a Harry Kim or something tucked in here. There are none this time, which is a little weird. Gonkar spent 35,000. Ultra's not one lucky pull. I spent 45,000. Also got 0 lucky pulls this time around. Here's your storyline events. So today's event was this Resilient Prey one, which required you to go kill either the existing Lost hostiles or Hirogen hostiles in the Voyager Delta Quadrant deep space areas. You got X number of points based on what level of thing that you killed. I had to kill quite a lot of things because, as you can see, killing stuff in the low 50s, getting me 400,000, 700,000 points, and I needed 49 million. You did get bonus points if you used Voyager to do the killing, which would have required you to unlock it already, which would have required you to buy the ship. Here's your storyline SMS. This event, complete a storyline milestone event or place in a leaderboard event. Either way, you get 1 point. You need a total of 20 points over the next 21 days. So I assume we're probably going to have one event per day. By completing all 20, this is your monthly event. This is very similar to the 10D event we had with the Strange New Worlds, the Lower Deck arc last year, where it was a month-long thing. You had to do your daily event every single day. You hit all the final milestone, you completed the event, and at the end of the month, you got 10D for free. This month gives you 38 more of these Lobi crystals and a Harry Kim avatar for a grand total of 50 Lobi crystals for the month. And what can you spend those Lobi crystals on? A partial unlock of the USS Voyager. There's half your blueprints right there if you complete the meta event this month and do everything you're supposed to do all month long. You get half the ship for free. We'll talk about where you can get the other half of the blueprints. There's a daily sourcing for that. Very easy to do, but we'll circle back to that in just a second. If you already have Voyager, or if you don't want to speed up its unlock, you can also take an unlock of Harry Kim instead. I believe since Voyager is unlocked at Ops level 34 for Shipyard to build it, if you are below Ops 34, you will only see Harry Kim here as your option for what to do with your Lobi crystals. Nice, you guys got some lucky pulls. Oh, congrats. Wow. Denver Stone hit like 5 of them. All right. We also have this Intrepid Explorer SLB, which also gives you points for completing storyline and battle pass events. This is a 20-day long event as well. You also get points for spending isolytic artifact tokens. We saw some of those as rewards for one of the events. I think it might be this one here. Here's your Upgrade Voyager event. This is the one giving out isolytic artifact tokens. These are used to source the new artifacts. So rather than dilute the existing pool by just adding a whole bunch of new artifacts, they made a separate currency, a separate redemption, so you can redeem these limited time specific ones. Well, they're not limited time, but these alternate tokens for the alternate pool of new artifacts that were just released. This is only a 3-day event, so if you want to compete in this, you're going to have to purchase Voyager in order to get that. Delta Flyer SMS is doing away teams. There are no bonus points here for spending trait XP. This is just a complete missions, hit criticals, or fail them. You still get points. And here's your Unlock Voyager Heroic SMS. Basically, you just have to unlock the ship before the end of the month. You get this avatar as well as 3,000 of one of the currencies that Voyager uses, because there are quite a bunch of them. Those are our current events. Our event calendar was also released. I'm sure somebody put together a handy-dandy little graphic, but it looks like we've got a handful of events going on, well, plenty of events going on all month, and they did break them out a little differently this time around. Run times and schedule may change. Additional events may be scheduled for specific player segments, so always a possibility that they may add or change events. Standard boilerplate disclaimer, right? We've got our storyline events. It's interesting too, because in some of these events here, you're killing hostiles, you're upgrading different, stations, gaining power, domination style events. There are a couple of trivia events. They actually put the trivia questions in the calendar. I don't know if they're still here or not, but here you got to go trading information. You got to fly around and find the right systems and kill stuff in. This is, your scavenger hunt type events. Here's your Voyager trivia event, right? What rank was Tom Paris demoted to? Right there, June 18th. So you got 12 days to figure out the answer to this question. It's kind of weird that's on the calendar like that. We've got some other preparation events. Using hailing frequencies, giving alliance helps. Hey, we get to use hailing frequencies again. Here we go, more using hailing frequency type events. Nice that they're bringing those back. Voyager trivia question number 2. Just putting it right out there. There it is. Here's your recruit milestones. There are 3, basically the next 3 weekends. All 3 weekends are Recruit Janeway leaderboard events. Whether or not they will have paired SMSs, one can only hope. And whether or not any of them will have the heroic one remains to be seen. I think this is certainly going to change the way people spend, particularly in the first weekend. So, if you're strategic about it, you might be able to snipe some good materials this one, because people may be holding back, hoping that when they get the first one and there's just a regular SMS and you're just getting like 12 Janeway shards or whatever, people might be like, you know what, I think I'm just going to skip this week and maybe I'll see if there's a better SMS next week. That might leave you, the strategic player watching this, an opportunity to snipe that leaderboard and finish very high and get a huge chunk of shards without the usually large of a commitment of resources as you often have to. If 10 million points is usually what you need to get in like the top 5 in your server, you might be able to get there for half that if people are holding back because they're wondering if a heroic SMS is going to be added to one of the later events later in the month. So, something to keep an eye on. That's all I'm saying. Just something to keep an eye on. Here's your spending ultra recruits. This is coming back again at the end of the month, so we're going to get a second time around of this in about 2 weeks. This is the new Prime, the battleship wrecking one. Delta Flyer for away team missions. You got to kill Klingon hostiles. We'll have a couple of those throughout the month. Assimilated Borg wish to go fight the Eclipse hostiles. That's the 9th and the 10th. Is that in line with Apex? No, it sure isn't. Because Thursday is the 8th. So the 8th, we'll have our Apex Thursday event, and then Friday the 9th and into Saturday, or Saturday the 10th, we'll have killing more Apex hostiles, because, as if doing them for 1 day wasn't enough, now we get to do them for 3. Luckily, these are just SMSs, so they should be pretty easy to complete, and you won't have to do all kinds of extra grinding like you might have to for Apex, but couldn't have just lined these up with the Thursday event we already have doing the exact same thing? We've got some ticketed events for recruiting. Probably have one of each officer hopefully available in each of these. A Harry Kim, a Tom Paris, and a Catherine Janeway associated with each ticket event. We get 1 Parabellum, 1 Jelly Pursuit, and 2 Jellyfish Brawls, including tomorrow. We'll have a Jellyfish Brawl kicking off tomorrow. So there is your event calendar.